Welcome back to Chainsaw Crew, everyone. As our good friend Mike Riley would say, Jiminy Christmas, hip hip hooray. The portal era of this year is over. We can
Thank
move
goodness.
on. There's only one period now. Thank you, NCAA, for finally doing something semi right. But yeah, guys, welcome back to Chainsaw Crew. I know a handful of you, and by that I mean like four of you asked if we're going to do a podcast after the season ended. So yeah, here we are. It's a weird time of the year. College football is over. Congrats to the Indiana Hoosiers. Josh, my friend, good to see your face again. We text all the time, but this is the first time we've spoken since the last pod, essentially. So how's it been, man? How's your new year going? How's your new 2026? Any resolutions? Are you breaking them? Are you striving? How are we doing?
Life's crazy as always with me, so it's nice to be able to take some time back and chat some Oregon State athletics with you and catch up a little bit. Same year, same me. Like nothing's changing right now. Still trying to golf. Got a lot of craziness with just the life and stuff like that. But so is everybody else. So I'm not going to sit here and ramble on about why why it's different and better for me. But I think we've seen some exciting stuff, some exciting change out of specifically the football program since we last spoke. And we were talking about it before we hit record and just kind of the breath of fresh air we've seen with Coach Shepard and what he's been doing with the media and just some of the interviews he's been doing. And just to have that, I'm going to say electricity still from his, when we first heard him speak at the university when he got introduced as the head coach. It's just crazy, and you're seeing him going to wrestling events, taking the team to the basketball, forcing them to watch the men's basketball team. Like, bless his heart, man. Like that dude's a warrior. So it's cool. When we talk about big picture right now, setting a foundation, that's what it feels like he's doing, and you're seeing it in many different ways right now.
100%. And he's been great on social media so far. The social media team, I think, has done a very solid job so far in this Jamarcus Shepard era. And speaking of social media, you guys can give us a follow at Chainsaw Crew 23. Make sure you download this podcast. It is the most accurate way that we can get a depiction of how many listeners we are getting. And this podcast had 3,000 downloads in 2025, and we reached up to 360 cities throughout the world. So thank you guys for being a loyal listener and a loyal fan. And also, it's 2026, man. The pack is back as of July 1st this year, dude. And there's been some rumblings about is it going to be rebranded? They're not going to call themselves the Pac 12 anymore. We'll touch on that later. But man, this is a very interesting, it's a very unique time for Oregon State sports. And I don't know if I want to say exciting just yet. There's a lot of things to look forward to for sure, but I think a lot of things have to line up before we can officially be excited, right? Because the portal did come and did go. What a mess, dude. What an absolute mess the transfer
Gosh.
portal is. NIL, just everything in college football. It's just crazy right now. And it's still technically going on. Guys can still commit. You can no longer enter. There may be a spattering, a few just little tiny little detail things. You saw Alberto Mendoza hit the portal. That just means his paperwork was delayed because he's in the playoff. There's a couple of guys who may still leave Oregon State's football program. Their paperwork could be delayed. It's just about when they turned it in. So there could be a sprinkling or two of guys still to leave, but not entirely sure. But over 10,000 NCAA, that means FBS, FCS, D2, and D3 players entered the portal. That is over 25% of the entirety of FBS, and almost 900 FBS players found new schools. So if you're keeping up every single day, man, good for you. I tried my absolute best to stay on top
It's
of
not
it.
possible.
But Josh, dude, like if you're out and about for like 3 hours and you just go back and check X and you're just like, oh, 15 guys found a new school. It's ridiculous, dude. And 36 former Beavers entered the portal. And I am worried about a few of these guys potentially not finding homes. I haven't seen a few of them take any visits, which is definitely a worry. I hope they did not make a wrong decision, but there's a few of those guys who I am saying sayonara to because that's just how it is, man. You get a new coach. You just went 2-10. A lot of guys are going to leave. A lot of guys don't really need to be here anymore, and that's just how it is in college football. But definitely sad to see a few guys go. I mean, out of the handful was definitely Tristan Tia, who ends up at Auburn. He's definitely going to back up there behind Brown and their new coaching staff. Everybody from USF is going over to Auburn. They have a good system. I think Tristan knows that he's probably going to sit a year. He's going to battle for the starting position, like he mentioned in the conversation with On Three. But I think he knows he's going to be the backup there. Salah Allah, which is I'm bummed about him because I love the way that kid spoke in his interviews. He just kind of he gets it. He gets it as a running back, and he's going to Iowa State. He's going to be with Jimmy Rogers, which is very interesting. Trent Walker's going to Houston. Taz Reddick goes to UNLV. Darius Clemens is going to Wazoo, which is going to be very interesting. He's following Trent Bray, who is the DC there. Another interesting dynamic of this offseason as well. Elijah Washington, who returns from kick for Oregon State, he went to Sac State. David Wills is at Tulsa. I think Jemai East got a offer from Eastern Washington. We'll see if he commits, but I haven't heard anything about Jabari Johnson. I haven't heard anything about Callan Guttridge, Zach Card, Jimmy Valzen. I know those guys. Some of those guys. I know Jimmy, for one, definitely ran into some issues with the law, so that could be an issue for him going forward. But I wish those guys the best, man. It didn't work out here. That's okay. I wish you the best at your next school, but honestly, like I'm not really rooting for you, especially if you're Trent Walker. Like we play you week one. I am not rooting for you. This is an Oregon State podcast. I'm not here to be like, good catch, Trent Walker against the Beavers first week of the year. No, I hope we shut him down, and I hope he has a bad game. That's just how it is, man. Sorry, not sorry. Some of these offensive line guys ended up at some SEC schools. We're going to see Xander Esty. He went to Boise State. Ryan Berger is following Jake Dickert. He's going to Wake Forest. Jacob Strand's at Auburn, just like Tristan. So a lot of guys moving, a lot of different places. The one name, though, two names really, that stuck out to me were JoJo Johnson, because Jamarcus Shepard spoke highly of him as soon as he got here. And unfortunately, Texas Tech said, here's this bag of cash. And that oil money, man,
Here
it
you
speaks
go.
loudly. And guess who we play week 2? JoJo Johnson and the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So that'll be interesting when he comes back to Reeser. And there's a ton of other guys that, went to either bigger schools or smaller schools. It's just kind of the way it is. Blue Dantzler did end up down the road at the Oregon Ducks. He ended up being a 3-star transfer. Dexter Foster to Nebraska and Jaleel Tucker to Washington State. So those are the guys that I really wanted to focus on. Oh, and Dylan Black, he's going to USC, which is cool for him, man. He played a lot of football at Oregon State. He's definitely one of those grad transfers. And don't worry, don't worry. We got a couple of long snappers in this hall, guys. We figured it out, maybe, hopefully. We'll talk about the coaching staff and those guys coming in. But Josh, man, any thoughts of the guys who are dipping? Anybody who are sad to see go? Anybody who we say good luck?
Sayonara. I think the crazy thing is right now is when you look at this list, there's some guys going to just some big schools, right? But the thing that sticks out to me the most, and I saw you going back and forth on X with some people about this, is some of these offensive linemen moving over to the SEC country, because I don't know if it was a Coach Cav problem, if it was just they didn't care or what it was, but to make that jump seems pretty crazy to me. And I Jacob Strand being from Canby, me being from Canby, that it's cool, man. And it's crazy to think that he's gonna go what I call big boy football. I can go play some big boy football right now. So I'm excited to see guys like that. Are they going to be successful over there? Are they going to be able to make that jump? Because in college football, it doesn't seem like a jump, but really when you're coming from what you dealt with the last few years to moving up to playing big boy football, it's a big jump. So I'm excited to see if they can be successful at this school. Now, some of these other guys, it's sad to think that handful of months ago, we were sitting here calling Trent a dog, right? Telling him, like, I want my kids to know Trent Walker, a Beaver legend, right? Does he still carry that? Yeah, maybe. But at the end of the day, like, it's done and over with. You're not, this is Oregon State pod, man. Like, we're here to represent Oregon State, right? And the other flip side of this is what did Shep came in and he said, what did he want from this team? Most importantly, what was he going to do to make this team be successful?
The big D, discipline.
Yeah. So are these guys that just don't want to put the effort in? Are they guys that just don't want to work? They came here to take a back seat. I don't want to speculate. I don't want
Well,
to say that
Josh, I think some of it is also, hey, buddy, here's this bag of cash. You can
for
want to
sure.
come be a backup here at Texas? Come on, Dylan.
For
Want to
sure.
be a backup at Arkansas? Come on, Adam. Like, yeah.
And that's the crazy sick part of all of this is like these guys are out to make livings now, right? Like we don't get that opportunity to go make $200,000. It's just crazy to think that they're going to do that to go be backup somewhere. And that's great. If that's again, we've talked about it before, like it's setting them up to be successful later on in life. It's unfortunate that that's what college football is right now, but kudos to them because we're sitting here recording a podcast and they're making $200,000 next year.
Yeah,
So,
man, good for them. Good for
I
them.
mean, and then, guys like David Wells, Zach Card, like, I mean, do we really, is that really going to hurt our feelings? I know it's not going to hurt your feelings.
No, not at all. And David Wells is going to Tulsa, which is funny because the GM of Tulsa is from my hometown. He went to my high school. And it's so funny, man. The quick jumps you can make in college football. I went to a Fresno State Purdue game a handful of years ago, and there's Mason Behiel on the sideline for Fresno State. He didn't play football like anywhere. I think he played in high school a little bit, and he was an analyst for Fresno State. And now he's a GM for Tulsa, and they're doing this portal house thing. It's really actually very cool at what they're doing at Tulsa, but not getting very high character guys apparently. So need to shore that up there, Mason. I'm just kidding.
Uh,
I'm just kidding. Um, so with 36 guys left, maybe a couple more. We'll see. It looks like 36 guys are coming in as of right now. That includes freshmen and transfers. A couple of big names that did stay back, though, which are pretty exciting. And they cause a lot of conversation as well. Malik Murphy never made any noise, and he's coming back. He was at the basketball game a handful of weeks ago against Seattle with Shep and the boys. And, man, credit to Malik because this fan base and us included, Josh and I included, we dogged on that dude a lot this year. He did not perform up to expectation. Was that entirely his fault? Not at all. No, this offensive line, like we just mentioned, pretty bad. Also, play calling, not very good. So I think there's definitely a lot of room to grow for Malik. And I give him credit for just saying, screw it, man. I'm going to stick around because what's it going to take for me to just be the starter again here? Because right now he's going up against Braden Atkinson, who won the Jerry Rice Award. I'm gonna say Jerry Weiss, Jerry Rice Award for the best freshman in the FCS. We've had a guy like that before. His name was Giovanni McCoy, but Braden looks a lot better than Giovanni as a thrower. Also, Brady Jones came over from Western Michigan. He was from California. He went to Riverside Community College originally, ended up at Western Michigan, got buried in the depth chart behind a guy who came in from Indiana. And Western Michigan had a pretty good squad this year. So the quarterback room is very interesting. I think any three of those guys have a shot to be a starter this upcoming season. And that's going to be a huge topic of conversation in Jamarcus Shepard, Mitch Dolan, their first year here at Oregon State. What direction do you want to go in at quarterback? Because we saw Malik and he struggled with a bad offensive line. If he doesn't have the protection, he will definitely run into some issues. He's going to turn the ball over. He's going to have some bad decisions of just throwing off his back foot, lobbing it up like he did at App State. So we know what to expect out of Malik. We've seen the good and the very bad out of him.
but the flip side of that is also putting him in a place to be successful, right?
Exactly.
Give him quick passes, give him something, give him wide receivers that can be physical, that can catch the ball, that are quick, right? So I just to real quick before you move on here, like we dogged the crap out of Malik this last year. So I it tells you a ton about his character, right? It tells you what kind of person Malik is. If Shep really came in and said, I want people that aren't going to run from the grind, and Malik was like, I'm here for it, right? Like, let's do it. I'll run it back another year, then
Yeah,
I
so be
salute
it,
you,
man.
man. Like
Yeah.
that, yeah, let's do it.
I'm all for that, dude. And again, I give him credit. Yeah, same round of applause to Malik for just saying, screw it. I'm going to stick around, man. Because what do you have to lose at this point? Go to another school. This will be your fourth school. That's when things get really murky in that water. When guys are
Mhm.
trying to find a fourth school, that's when it gets really tough for a lot of guys. I mean, we look at GJ Finley, dude. He's on his like seventh school. It's like, dude, how are you still getting squads? This is insane. But the running back room, to move on to the next position, a little thin as of right now. I would expect Oregon State to maybe add somebody here soon. I don't know. I mean, four guys as of right now that I count on the roster, and that's a lot of reps in camp and practice for a lot of guys. And that was the worry last year with the quarterback room, right? Because it was just Malik, and then it was Tristan, and then it was Jabari, and they didn't want to give Tristan a whole lot of reps at first. So then they had to get Callan Guttridge in there. So they had to use, I mean, there's a pitch count in there at some point. You got to have more guys throwing the ball. It's the same thing for running backs. You got to have maybe one more running back in this room. But right now we're looking at Cornell Hatcher. He's the main returner of this group that played pretty much out of all these guys. Skylar Jackson's in there. He got maybe a handful of snaps this year. Cordy Glass is in there, and then freshman Trey Garrison is coming in. Now you'll notice that there was a running back who was committed, decommitted, committed again, decommitted, ended up at Washington State. That's Lance McGee. He was the Max Preps Washington Player of the Year. He's an athlete, so he's a linebacker and a running back, but he flipped it around so many times. He mentioned that it was not because of NIL money. It was just because the new coaching staff at Oregon State signed Trey Garrison, and apparently he didn't love it. He liked Trent Bray a lot, so now he's a Coug. Okay, that's fine by me, honestly. I think what Shep and his coaching staff have been doing, it's been very clear to us that they want guys who want to be here. And Preston, shout out to Preston, who replied to us on X. It's that if you're here, great. If you don't want to be here, get out. It's that mentality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's been that way with the coaching staff, too. Just a lot of flip flopping going around with the coaching staff. You want to be here? Let's be here. Be committed to Oregon State, and I love that out of this new coaching staff so far. It's been a great start, and as of that proponent. So if you don't like another guy coming in for competition, okay, see you later. You can go play at Washington State, brother. Have a good time in Pullman. Jake Rockel seems to be coming back. Now the receiving room. This is where we'll go into some more depth here. Okay, coming into 2026, maybe they add some more guys, but I'm not sure if they need to add anybody else, honestly. So Eddie Freoff's coming back. Malachi Durant. I didn't see anything about Carson Boschma, so I'm assuming he's coming back. Same with Jay Drummer. Okay, and this is where it gets fun. This is everybody who's coming in new. Okay, Aaron Butler from Texas. This guy came in on a visit, Josh, and his Instagram story was great. You know, he posted the picture of Brandon Cooks' Biletnikoff Award, which was awesome. It seemed he put Beaver football in his IG bio, and then Ryan Clark wrote an article about it, and then he took Beaver football out of his IG bio, which is Instagram if you're not familiar with IG. He unfollowed Beaver football off of Instagram and Twitter, and then he ends up committing to Oregon State. Hey, man, if there's one thing about receivers, I love a good diva dramatic receiver. That is what the position is. All the great receivers are divas. Okay, we need that. Oregon State needs that. Jamarcus has been around that a lot, especially coaching at Washington with Romo Dunze and McMillan, and then Alabama with Ryan Williams. You got a lot of personalities you have to deal with, and that's great, dude. That means you have good talent at that position. So I'm okay with all this stuff going back and forth. You need the drama at that position. Let's be real, guys. Xavier Nolan came from UTRGV. Do you know what that stands for, Josh?
I don't. I'm gonna be honest with
University
you.
Texas Rio Grande Valley, baby. They had their
That's
first year
dope.
of football this year in like 60
Oh, really?
years.
Wow.
Yeah, they had a great year. He's a 5'6" demon, man. He was a deep threat for them. Going to bring a lot of heart because he was initially a walk-on at Texas State. He then transferred to UTRGV. He was a vaquero. Now he's a beeve. I'm excited about him. He's going to bring some kickoff specialist stuff. He's going to return some kicks. So I need some electricity, man, back in this receiver room. And I think that was the entire goal here from Coach Shepard was we need to bring some athleticism, some big playability, because that was what's lacking so much these last 2 years,
Yeah.
especially with Darius Clemens not on the field a whole lot for Oregon State. We know Trent Walker was pretty reliable as a possession receiver, but he wasn't going to blow the top off the defense, man. That's what Mitch Dahlen and that's what Coach Shep and Coach Finley, that's what they want, man. Speaking of Braden Atkinson out of Mercer, we got his buddy Adonis McDaniel. He's also from Mercer. He was a 1,000-yard receiver 2 years ago. Bubba Hampton from Alabama came in. He was a former three-star. Nick Saban spoke highly of him when he first came to Alabama, so it's great to hear from him. And then some other guys that are coming in as freshmen is Jamison Powell, who is an Ole Miss flip. Sinai Thomas, who is Skylar's little brother. Jesse Legree, and Jaden Padgett. So good receiving room on paper as we stand right now, man. I think this receiving
Is
room
that
offers
12 receivers?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So we are looking pretty good in that room right now, man. A lot of freshmen too, a lot of young guys. They can learn, they can sit, man. I'm really excited about Jamison Powell because he was the main focus at Folsom High
Mhm.
School, and they were state champs, man. And he had Ryder Lyons, the BYU 5-star, throwing him the ball. So a lot of good things out of this group right now, and I'm super excited to see the development, to see how Eddie Freoff, if he takes the next step under Coach Shepard and Coach Finley, man, that is something that could be really, really special because we know Eddie has the body to do it. He's just got to take that next step, man. So a lot of things to be excited about in this receiving room. It's just about if they can block for the quarterback so they can throw it to him deep, and that's really what it comes down to. The tight end room is a couple of new faces in there. DeCorian Temple, who's more of a blocking guy. He came from Central Michigan. Eric Olson was the number one FCS tight end from Utah Tech, formerly Dixie State. He comes in as well. Landon Cook from De La Salle as a freshman. DeAndre Waverly is still there. He was a highly touted guy coming in. Needed to add some weight. We'll see if he develops it all. Jackson Bowers is still there. So we'll see, man. I think this passing attack could be pretty special if things go well on the offensive side. That's what I'm not really worried about with Oregon State on offense, right? It's really just the other side of it and blocking up front because there's a lot of work to be done up front on both sides of the ball. And I'm really curious to see how Carter Gillum from Louisville comes in. Tekel Schultz from Bethune-Cookman. Peter Langley from Arizona comes in, which was a huge get. Have a lot of guys coming back like Tyler Volden. He definitely needs to cut some weight. We have Quan Johnson coming in from Eastern Illinois, who started every single game at tackle for them. The Eastern Illinois connection is actually really interesting because there's also a guy on defense that Oregon State got, Isaiah Huey, who's a corner. Eastern Illinois played at Alabama this year. So Coach Shep and those guys got a first glance look at those guys. So you know they were on their radar right away, which is pretty cool. Like there's a connection pretty much to all of these guys who came into Oregon
Sure.
State. And it's very interesting and it's a good sign, I think, in my eyes, that there's a lot of good, oh, this is the reason why we got this guy. And it's like, okay, it makes sense. It's a point A to point B. It's real simple. And we got a couple of Duquesne guys on defense, Portland State defensive linemen. We got a couple of JUCO guys. Jarrell Comer comes in from the JUCO ranks. He was a very impressive get. Aiden Sullivan's coming back home. Rajon Davis is coming back. So a lot of good names coming back, a lot of good names coming in. Very excited about TJ Crandall coming back. I was actually very surprised that he came back. But writing was on the wall. He did pay for Exodus Ayers bail money when he got arrested. So
Yes.
that was very interesting. So that tells a sign that Exodus Ayers is probably coming back as well. So we'll see how that unfolds. Trey Glasper seems like he's coming back, which is great. Drake Vickers announced he was coming back. Cyfred Wale re-signed. So a lot of good names coming back from last year in the defensive backfield that honestly, the main gripe that I had in the defensive backfield last year was Jaleel Tucker really struggled in pass coverage, especially just locating the ball in the air. And he's going to Wazoo, and I wish them luck with him. So Kai Wheaton also coming in, Marcus's cousin and the son of Kenny Wheaton, which is hilarious that Kenny Wheaton actually mentioned he has like no connection to the University of Oregon anymore, and he's rocking Oregon
Yeah.
State stuff because of his
Crazy.
son,
It's
dude.
crazy.
Isn't that weird, Josh? Like you're not even gonna like offer him a preferred walk on because, dude, like Kenny Wheaton is in your pregame video every single week.
Every year, yeah. It's
And I'm like, you're
crazy.
not even going to offer his son, dude. That's crazy. I did mention the long snappers. We got Tug Sanford, which is a great name.
Tugs.
This is
Yeah.
from Stephen F. Austin, Jonathan Zarut from Memphis, and Jaden O comes over from Syracuse, a kicker, likely going to be a kickoff specialist. And I love the emphasis already on just getting a kickoff guy. Remember how many times Oregon State struggled in kickoff return coverage? Can you think of a game? Oh, Sam Houston. Oh, that was quick. Well, that was an issue. Yeah. Shouldn't be an issue this year. Just kick the ball out of the end zone, boys. Jaden, oh, kick the ball out of the end zone.
Oh. But you
But yeah,
think
man.
about like going out and getting positions that were needed, and that's what
Mhm.
he's doing. Like just taking the sample that he saw last year and just the need, the desperate need at some of these positions, and him just going out and getting it done. Again, talked about it at the very start. Breath of fresh air. Going out, seeing a problem and trying to fix it. It's just incredible to be able to see this happen. And obviously not surprised that the wide receiving room is so filled, especially with what Shep was what he was coaching beforehand. Like the dude knows how to go get wide receiver. He's coached some of the best wide receivers, right? So I, again, I think this is where I think there's a lot of stuff to be excited about, right? But this is where I caution people to take a step back because it's so easy to be excited. What Shep's feeding us through social media, it's cool to see all the coaches out recruiting, seeing the stuff that social media teams putting together for like their plane tickets. It's cool to see that, seeing them here at local schools like at Lake Ridge and West Lynn. And they're like, you just never saw that with Coach Bro. You haven't seen that from Oregon State coaching staff in some time. So we talked about it. Andrew Nemec has talked about the problem with in-state recruiting, and you're already seeing them out as a
Dude, Andrew
staff.
Namick was a number one Trent Bray hater.
Yeah, and you're seeing them out. And Oregon and the local areas recruiting, talking to coaches. It's a great first step. It gives you a lot to be excited, and there should be a lot to be excited about. But we got to caution ourselves with there was a lot of roster turnover, right? You're getting guys coming in that are brand new into this, and it's how are they going to how is Shep going to get them to buy in to play the type of football that he wants to? So I'm stoked. I'm excited going through this list, seeing the dudes that have been added that may continue to be added. But we got to be optimistic. I'm trying to think of
Cautiously
the word.
optimistic. Yeah,
Cautiously optimistic there.
yeah. Words are hard. Yeah, no,
ADHD,
100%.
bro. I've been up since 5 o'clock, but it all blends together. But
So
yeah,
we have Jerry Weiss and we have can't figure the word out for cautiously optimistic. So
this isn't the
we're
first time we've done this. I
we're breaking off
promise.
the rust here, folks. Okay, it's been a little while. All right. But yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. Just being cautiously optimistic because we've seen guys come into Oregon State and we get really excited about them in the offseason. I think, for one, Jackson Bowers, a tight end from BYU coming in last year, we were really excited about him. A lot of BYU folks were like, yeah, very talented guy. Didn't see the field a whole lot, maybe a little bit of off field drama with him, but the talent's definitely there. And then Oregon State never uses him. He was making 250K from NIL and he was never on the field. And then we got really excited about Malik Murphy. That didn't work out last year either. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to take the good with the bad with the transfer portal because it giveth and it taketh. And sometimes you are all in on a guy and it just doesn't work out. So you have to have balance, man. And this is what last year's issue was with the portal and guys coming in is the coaching staff just never set any of these guys up for success, man. It was struggle from the beginning of this thing. The first offensive snap of the year against Cal was a low snap and a fumble, and we lost 5 yards. Like from the get go, we were playing from behind the sticks from the whole season on. It felt like they could just never get ahead of anything, and that's on the coaches, man. And you mentioned I did talk about the offensive line last year. Like a lot of these guys are going to bigger schools. What's going on? Was it a Cav issue? And Angie Machado actually replied to me, and she was like, "Guys, it wasn't a Coach Cav issue. Some of these guys just kind of they threw in the towel a handful of games into the season, and." To me, Josh, that is on the coaching staff. What do you mean your guys are throwing in the towel a handful of games in? It felt like they were done at the Texas Tech game because what did they do? The first snap at Texas Tech, two false starts back to back. It was 1st and 20 before they took their first snap. I mean, that's a group who is just checked out. And that's what it felt like all season long. And they really only brought it in a couple of games that I can remember. Against Wazoo, they weren't really that great, but they could still do enough on the offensive line to move the ball a little bit. But I mean, this team never really got it going, and that is purely on the coaching staff. And I know we have a very small community here at Oregon State. Okay, Beaver Nation is a nation for sure, but it's a smaller nation, 100%. And they see everything. So when I post something like that, like a lot of people see it, and I know Coach Kavanaugh saw that because he was liking replies about him. So it, I don't know, man. I don't know what to take out of that last season, but it's just setting this team up for success. And 2-10 obviously is never any good, but it's something to learn for the guys that are coming back with a new coaching staff now and a whole new set of standards, whole new set of just goals coming in with these new guys. And I'm super excited. Are your kids messing with the lights right now?
The lights went out, so Lydia's trying to she's trying to get them back on. It's quite the flickering show we got going
That is
on.
that is hilarious. It's
I'm
going off
sorry
and
for the
on.
distraction.
No, it's totally funny actually. Uh, But anyway, with the portal, man, if you guys were not following Ryan Harlan, he is the absolute best to follow. We know that Ryan Clark is moving on to the Oregon Ducks with the Oregonian, and we're getting James, whatever his name is, he's flipping over to Oregon State. So that'll be interesting. Doesn't matter. Ryan Harlan's our guy. He's been a guest of the show. He's the best to follow for all of this portal stuff. Any roster news, anything Oregon State, like give him a follow on Twitter, on X, and he's the best guy for this. But so with these guys that they added, the FCS names, some of the smaller schools like a Central Michigan and Bethune Cookman, like those kind of spots, right? It's definitely a telltale that this coaching staff and Aaron Hodges, they wanted something very specific. They wanted production from the school that they were at prior. And that's great. All these guys, for the most part, that they got had high production, a lot of snaps played, which is good. But it does kind of look to the other side of that page is NIL is probably an issue right now for Oregon State.
Oh, good.
And you have to play the game. You can't hate the player. You got to hate the game. And unfortunately, you got to hate the game because the NIL game is running it. And Oregon State is behind the ball a little bit because the blueprint stuff will really set them back, running off a rev share, which is about $4 to $5 million, and then plus any donations that they're getting from donors that we may not know about. So obviously, not a ton of big names came in. I think the guys that are probably going to make the most money that probably won't even go public are the receivers that came in, like Aaron Butler and Bubba Hampton. Like they're probably going to get a pretty good cut of change here, and they're probably going to get a good amount of snaps, hopefully. But we don't really know the budget right now for this NIL and what Iran Hodges is working with. So that is something that they have their work cut out for. But with all of that said, man, 36 out, pretty much 36 in, I thought the number would be a lot higher of guys leaving. So maybe that shows some good news with Coach Shepard coming in, obviously building a good repertoire right away. Just having that relationship from the get-go. And it feels like he's been doing that. The vibes have been high. Like you mentioned earlier, Josh, him at the wrestling event against Ohio State was awesome. The kickball video that they put out the other day, the workout video that they put out today with Jeff Eaton, man. So you, obviously, like I said last time, you don't win games with press conferences, you don't win games with social media posts, but we've seen a much higher vibe initially. With the Trent Bray era, it was really great initially. Like, all right, cool, we got our guy. We're probably going to retain a lot of talent. He's familiar with Oregon State. But after that, we didn't really see anything from the social media team. We got like one spring video where Trent was talking to the team, and that was like it. Okay. I think this time around, Hadley Heck, her work is cut out for her. She's gonna have a lot of videos to post on X. And I'm excited to see how this offseason unfolds. I'm excited to see who else we get in the portal because I know they're not done. They're gonna have to add a handful of more guys. But I like the vibe so far, man. It's so far so good under the Coach Step era because look, man, this is not an easy job. This is a really, really hard job to do right now. And it's even harder when your AD is kind of pushing the cart down
Barnes.
and slowing you down, dude. And I don't know, Josh, Scott, what are your thoughts on Scott Barnes, man? The coaching salaries are not what he said they were going to
What are you
be.
talking about? They're not in the top of the conference, Rob. Is that what you're
Didn't he
referring
say
to?
that they're going to be number one in the conference of coaches' salaries? Who is going to be paid? I mean, Shep is in the middle of the pack for the new pack.
It's ridiculous. I mean, again, I just don't get the endless lies it feels like that we're getting from Scott, right? You literally sat there and you told everybody that their salaries were going to be top of the new Pac-12. And then we slowly start finding out that they're not even sniffing close to being towards the top. Okay, well, I'm assuming Shep knew that already, right? But again, what does that look like for you as an athletic director that should be leading this university? Everyone hates you already. I mean, that's just a harsh reality of it. Yeah, you may have done some good with hiring Shep, and everything looks good right now. But every single thing that you do from now on, like not there's not a single person that's going to look at it any good, right? It it's confusing. It hurts my head to think about everything that he says, and then days, weeks, months later, we find out that it's not even close. We want this football team, this university to be successful. I think Shep has been the best thing that's happened to this university in a long time. Just seeing that culture that he wants to build, not with just with football, but with every sport, right? It's crazy. And I know that the social media team's cooking hot right now, and that's what you want to do with a new head coach, right? You want to get them out and let everybody see everything that's good and going on right now. And we talked about Shep's doing great in these interviews, but when stuff gets tough year one next year, that schedule is horrendous, Rob, and we haven't even talked about it that much. That that that's when you find out the character of this football team and the character of Shep. Now, I think the saving grace is I think Shep can convince you even when it's going bad that it's going to be okay. And I'm excited to see some of these press conferences because we never got that from Bray, right? These weekly press conferences, they were boring. They sucked. I don't think we're going to have that with Shep. I think he's going to be open. He's going to be honest. Are we going to get an injury report this year? I mean, that'd be cool, right? Like, I mean,
That's the thing about the old Pac-12 is they didn't have to do it. So I wonder in the new
no.
Pac because the
Yeah.
SEC and the Big Ten they have to do it. So
Yeah. It feels like you have to have that. Like, it's just part of football. And just, I understand you don't want to show your cards sometimes, but I mean, just be upfront and honest with it, right? Like, this year is going to be I think it's going to be a challenging year, but I don't think it's going to be a challenging year in the ways that we've seen it in years past, right? I'm setting my expectations very low, and I'm going to be okay and at peace with that. And if they go over those expectations, I'm going to feel great about myself, right? I think Shep's the right guy for this right now. And I think what he's surrounded himself with this coaching staff, granted, trying to fill the DC spot has been miserable because nobody wants to stay here in BDC. And we'll get that in a little bit. But if he can surround himself with a core group of coaches that believe in what he wants this vision to be at Oregon State, this thing's going to get flipped around pretty soon, because as soon as you have that family mentality between the coaching staff and a group of guys that believe in their leader, Coach Shepard, you're going to get guys that want to come here and they want to embrace that, right? And Shep's talked about that, just having that family aspect, because it dribbles down into the players, right? It just builds that foundation up more and more. So the more I see him talk, the more I see him out doing things within the university, like, it can't help you but get excited, right? It's cool seeing that. And like I said, we've never seen that. And we haven't seen that in a while. So
Mm.
as it goes on, I hope they continue doing that. When it gets tough, I hope they continue doing that. But what are your thoughts with this staff so far, with this new DC hire that we have? Hopefully that stays for longer than 5 days, doesn't get bought out and go somewhere else. Just with what you're seeing Coach Shep assemble right now, that could lead to the flip and this switch of this Oregon State football team over the next couple of years.
Well, look, man, this is a difficult job, like I just mentioned, and your AD right now, he's been holding it back a little bit with these salaries. A lot of these other coaches who are not Shep and Coach Dallin are on 1 year deals. It's pretty much just a wait it out and then we'll get you the money kind of situation, I believe. That is kind of the vibe I've been hearing from Mike Parker and some other people that are surrounded with the university a little bit closer. It's money for right now, and then we'll backload you in the next contract. That's what I'm hoping, at least. And if that's what Barnes is selling, he better not be lying about that again.
You have to get it right. You
You got to
have
get it
to get
right,
it
man.
right.
Because look, why did Bray struggle? Because the assistant coaches stunk. It was
Yeah.
it was bad, dude. And then the offensive coordinating position was tough. You couldn't figure out Keith Hayward at first, and then Trent was doing the job, and then he couldn't be the head coach, so they got Rob Akey. So there's way too many moving parts going on, and that's difficult to run a ship that way, man. You need a CEO, and you have Jamarcus to do that, and then you have a GM now with Iran. So this is a great start, right? Hopefully these guys will all stick around for a few years at the very minimum. I know how college football is nowadays. It's hard to keep guys in one place for more than 10 minutes if you're Lance Guidry. So year one is really just about setting your culture and just making the standard, because this brand right now. Because what is our fan base doing on X a lot of right now, Josh? It's fire Scott Barnes, fire Scott Barnes.
That's all it is.
Scott Barnes' fault. Everything is Scott Barnes' fault, which it's not. Everything is not his fault. Okay, the men's basketball team stinks because Wayne Tinkle's a bad coach. Okay, that's not entirely on Scott. The extension was on Scott for sure, but right now you're kind of stuck. Your hands are tied, and Wayne just can't figure it out. So that's not on Scott Barnes entirely. Okay, it is about sometimes the coaches need to coach and the players need to play just a little bit, but this brand right now of our fan base is just negative, 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 negative. Fire somebody,
Sure.
fire somebody, fire somebody. And what does that tell other fan bases? Oregon State's going through it. Oregon State's not having a good time. And this pressure, it's I don't know if it's pressure, but there's a lot on Coach Shep's shoulders right now to get things right. And I know he's bringing a lot of good energy to other sporting events. I'm excited to see him at a baseball game. I mean, we saw Trent Bray and Coach Gundy at baseball games before, but I think Coach Shep being at a game, I think he's going to experience. Oh, this is the standard here at Oregon State. This program is different than everybody else. And I feel like Shep is going to get a grip on why it's different, because they kind of operate on their own. They do their own thing most of the time. And I hope Shep sits down with Coach Canham quite a bit. I know they have already for sure, but I hope he learns a thing or two about how to operate and just how to be successful at Oregon State. Because again, man, when you explain to people outside of the state of Oregon that Oregon State, their best sport is baseball, they're like, how? That doesn't make any sense. It's because of Pat Casey, and then now it's because of Mitch Canham. Okay, they have a standard and they live up to it every single year, pretty much. There's only been a couple of just like, oh, that was not a very good year for baseball. But most of the time, they're they're playing up to their standard, and that is what Coach Shep has to do. So far, I feel like this standard has been set, and I think they have a lot of good pieces in place to make this thing right. But like you just mentioned earlier, the word discipline, that is what Coach Shepard has been just preaching to everybody, to the players, to the media. This program needs discipline. Hell, we had more guys get DU double I's than we had wins on the last year's team, okay? That is poor discipline. That is a bad culture. This year's about building that culture. And like you said, man, the beginning of this schedule, Houston on the road in the heat, and then come back home and face a Texas Tech team who just made the playoff, and they're reloading even bigger for this year because they got shut out in the playoff. It's going to be a hard first two games, y'all. That's two top 25 teams back to back to start your year and to start your new coaching tenure. You're staring 0-2 in the face. How does this coaching staff respond to that? How do they get over that hump? Because then you have a Montana squad coming in, and they're no slouch, dude. That FCS stuff is, we're talking about getting a bunch of FCS players. Montana, Montana State, those programs are not that far off from FBS programs.
Mhm.
That's not going to be an easy game either. You're going to be 0-2, staring 0-3 in the face if you come out flat. That's where your culture shows up. You need to have culture wins. And a lot of schools, we just saw one win the national championship, 16-0. Indiana won that national championship off discipline and culture. What was Coach Signetti preaching the entire time? Okay, we're going to have discipline and we're going to have a simple practice schedule. You guys have been playing football your entire life. We're going to keep it simple to you. Don't give them too much information. Don't overload them with practices. Recovery and freshness. And just go out and play ball. Be free. Nothing flashy. And that is what Oregon State needs to embody, okay? Because a lot of people have been saying, hey, if Indiana can do it, anybody can do it. No, you still need that team first mentality 100%. Is Jamarcus going to turn Oregon State into Indiana? Probably not, no. But you can turn into a very successful program with that same model. Team first, good culture. Let's be disciplined. That is what this needs to, that's what needs to turn for this football program right now. And we need to trust the coaches at first. And speaking of these coaches, man, some of the guys who dipped out of here right away, and Noki Brechterfield, who we all thought that was a cool hire, a former Oregon State player, great. He was a DL coach, and then he said, I'm going to Utah. They bought him out. So the paint wasn't even dry in the house yet. And this upset a lot of people, man. Like Mike Parker was another one. I was one of them. It's just like, when is this going to stop? When are we going to stop getting stabbed in the heart from former Beavers? It's just ridiculous, dude. And then Lance Guidry was named the defensive coordinator. Like Inoki, paint wasn't even dry yet. Probably didn't even unpack the boxes out of the U-Haul, and he was poached by Memphis. Okay, so when Memphis is poaching your coaches for the exact same position, that's how you know the salaries are not in a good position, right, Josh? Like it.
But also, like the flip side of that, are we dodging bullets at this point, right?
That's what I was just gonna say. Lance Guidry was not a good hire. Okay, no West Coast connections. I didn't love this hire from the beginning because he had up and down defenses. He had some good squads at like Marshall, but for the most part, when he went to Miami, they were horrible. So, and he had top talent in Miami, and they were bad.
They
So,
sucked.
so I'm not really tripping about that. So who comes in? Okay, Mark Hagan is being tagged by a lot of recruits right now. He's the former Louisville co-DC and defensive line coach. He coached with Shepard at Purdue. Okay, and now we have Mike McIntyre reportedly hired as defensive coordinator. 60-year-old, great experience. He's been a head coach for a long time. Has a lot of familiarity with Oregon State when he was at Colorado. Funny enough, the 2018 Colorado game when Oregon State had that crazy comeback was pretty much the reason why he got fired from that job. So he
Left,
comes
yeah.
full circle a little bit here, but he's done a lot of great things, man. He was the head coach of San Jose State, turned them around pretty good. Then he went to Colorado, had a couple of good seasons, and then it kind of fell off the tracks there at the end. He was a DC at Ole Miss. They immediately got better under him. And then Lane Kiffin took that job. He moved on. He was the head coach at FIU. Didn't do great there. It's really hard to win at FIU, but he brings experience and he's been a head coach a long time. And that's what I was worried about with this coaching staff. Because I see all these names. I'm like, okay, Kirk Barron, cool name, offensive line coach. Hey, Lee Marks, he's going to be associate head coach. He was great at UW. He was with Shepard there. He came from Memphis. Okay, good name there. Oh, Ryan Wallace from Louisville, he was with Shepard at Purdue. Okay, yada yada yada. Mitch Dolan, good name. Okay, where are the guys who have been like head coaches before? Like none of these guys have had a ton of a great experience. And now we see Mike McIntyre, and I feel a lot better just to have an old guy on the staff. I think every football team, especially with a young head coach like Jamarcus Shepard, you need that old guy along your side just to be like, hey, like here's a tip. Here's this. What's going on? How can I help you out in any single way? And this is a very, very good hire. I like this hire a lot. Anything that sticks out to you, Josh, out of these coaches that I have listed on our notes, anybody who really comes to mind that you're like, I like this one a lot?
I I think it starts with Mike at the DC spot, right? And it reminds me kind of what Mike Riley was doing there towards his kind of end with Oregon State, just with his role of just kind of being just being there, right? And
For
when you
Jonathan,
look
you
at
mean?
this for Smith, yeah,
Yeah.
when you look at it, it's like you need that, right? Someone that's been through it, that understands it, and you just need someone to shed some light on it sometimes. And I think that's what Mike's going to do for Jamarcus and this staff, right? It, it we knew it was going to be a fresh start, and I'm glad that they went out and they just decided to go fresh, right? Because I think that's what you needed. You needed everything to be cut from last year. You wanted from the staff specifically. You wanted really nothing hanging around. Okay, start fresh. We'll revamp the coaching staff, and Shep's going to bring in the guys that he wants. Yeah, it's a great young core right now, but again, we're going to see over the next year or two what this core can do and how it's going to turn this football program around. Because again, if they come out, they struggle, then it's almost like you're in the back into that Trent Bray situation. And it's like, is Jamarcus going to make changes when he needs to? I don't want to start questioning him now because that feels like that should be years away. But with everything that happened with Bray, you kind of got to wonder that is like, is he when it times get tough and they get rough, is he willing to make those tough decisions? Because it's not fun for anybody, right? Nobody
No.
wants to make those decisions. But as a new head coach for Jamarcus, and I'm willing to say an up and coming head coach for probably many other schools down the road for him, just off the way that he puts himself out there, if he comes out and proves himself right away, like it's going to be crazy and it's going to be hard to understand for this fan base. But things are going to happen on later down the road, and we don't need to jump to that because we're many years down the road from that, hopefully. But
Yeah, hopefully.
can they come? Can they come out and can they execute what they want to? Right. And I'm going back to Mike, having a guy with experience that understands the ins and outs of college football. Yeah, it might be different from what he's gone through many years ago, but just having a ear for Jamarcus to go to and just have a voice of reason essentially to be like, hey, like we're struggling here. What can we do to get out of it? That's huge. It's huge to have that in a locker room and in a coaching staff and for players also.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. And you know, you mentioned that Trent Bray hired way too many friends, and that was very evident. And he had a hard time moving on from coaches that definitely needed to be moved on from. So that's always an operational worry going forward for a new head
Mm-hmm.
coach. Because I mean, you look at these guys that Shep has hired; they have a direct connection. They either coached together at Purdue, or they coached together at Western Kentucky, or they just came from Alabama. So there's a lot of that going on. So I do worry sometimes that you hire too many friends again, but you need to do that at first. Like you got to get a staff together.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of these guys have a 1 year contract. That's nothing we need to worry about right now. One guy that I know who has a really difficult job going forward, and this might be the hardest job in the country at this point. It's Ricky Brumfield, the special teams coach who came from Syracuse. He coached with Shep at Western Kentucky. Godspeed, brother. This is a very difficult position to be in because, look, man, if Oregon State had an average special teams unit this year, they go 5-7. Isn't that crazy to think about?
It's disgusting to think
They
about.
they
In
win
all
the Fresno
reality,
State
they're
game, they probably win the App State game, and they definitely win the Houston game. So that's three more games that they would have had just if they had average special teams, and maybe even Sam Houston. They don't give up the kick return
say
touchdown.
Sam, yeah.
It's crazy to think about. Like if they just had an average special teams unit, they probably go 6-6, 5-7, and they're bowling. Maybe it's just crazy. So Ricky has a big job ahead of him, and adding a Kickoff specialist is a good start. Adding two long snappers, very good start.
Huge.
So I'm very curious, man, because look, that is the one area that Oregon State just has to be better at for sure. For sure. I mean, if you don't even get better on defense, like if you don't rush the passer that great again, but you got a lot better special teams effort, you're going to have a much better team, which is just crazy to say. And shout out to Ryan Harlan, dude. Shout out to all the sickos out there. That special team stuff matters, man. It'll make and break games. Shout out to Indiana blocking a punt in the national championship game for a touchdown. Okay, that won them the game. It's what happens, dude. You have to have a better special teams unit going forward. There is no more bottom for this group. It was the worst unit in the country. So, Ricky Brumfield, man, I tip my cap to you. Thank you for taking this position. And good luck, brother. Good luck. I hope it
Was he
gets
forced
fixed.
to take this position? Is the real
That's
question.
what I'm like. What did Syracuse? Because he's had a lot of good units
Yeah.
as a special teams coach. So I'm glad he took this position, man. He seems like a great hire, and I have a lot of faith in him to get it right. So, yeah, man. A lot of other coaches on this list. James Finley, he's been on the recruiting trail a ton. He's been posted on X a lot. He came over from Colorado State. So if Shep likes him for receivers, man, then I trust that 100%. But yeah, man, this is it's come together. It's finally, I think the drama has finally stopped with the coaching staff, which is great. And we can finally just ink some guys in. No one else is going to be jumping ship at this point. And like Jamarcus said, I want you here because you want to be here, not because,
Mhm.
oh, my wife said we don't want to live on the West Coast. I'm talking to you, Lance Guidry. We didn't want you anyway. It's okay. We didn't want you anyway.
See you. Bye
If you're
bye.
out, yeah, you're either all in or in the way, baby. Shout out to Kyle Whittingham at Michigan. But yeah, man, that's it. That's the rundown so far where we're at for this Oregon State off season. It's still very, very early. Winter workouts just got started. So we have a long way to go. September is a very far away from this. And I don't know if I'll be able to get out to that opening game against Houston. It is my girlfriend's birthday that day. So that is
That's
probably
not a
off the
problem, right?
table. Also,
No.
dude, that stadium is going to be empty. It's hot in Houston in
Like
September.
300 degrees.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal out there. So I hope Trent Walker's ready for that Houston heat, brother. It is different down there. I don't know if he's really ever experienced it like that. So I
I got a
hope he's
question.
ready
Do
for
they
it.
practice in AC facilities when it gets too hot?
1000%. They have to. 2 days in the Texas heat, like they said in Friday Night Lights, they did 2 days in the 10 and 10, 10 and 10. They don't do that anymore, man. Everybody's practicing inside in college, dude. Like that's
Gotcha.
yeah, and dude, Texas. I went to their women's game the other day for basketball. They're building a brand new indoor football facility, and it's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be so nice because the other one that they have right now is just beyond their actual football stadium, and it's like the old school, just like tarp dome thing. And their new one is going to be insane. Everybody's
Sick.
got to do it, man. And especially in the state of
For
Texas,
sure.
man. Like it's hot the whole year. It doesn't cool down until January. And like this weekend, we're going to get like 18-degree weather and the whole city's going nuts. But dude, late November, it is still like 80 degrees at kickoffs, and it's never cold in football season. And summer workouts, good luck. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But man, the new pack is starting. It's 2026. I'm thank God the 2 year hiatus is over. We only have to deal with it for the rest of basketball and into the baseball season. But after this, it's over, man. We can finally just get into our conference and just go, which is really
The pack
nice.
is back.
The pack is back, baby. And we're going to find out pretty soon here if they're going to make any more ads. I know St. Mary's is interested. I know they want to make that jump. They want to get out of the WCC for sure, especially with Gonzaga leaving. You want to be in this new Pac 12 or new pack
Hmm.
for basketball 100%. It's going to be a great basketball conference, and that doesn't include Oregon State whatsoever. So good luck, good luck, San Diego State, Gonzaga, Utah State,
Uh,
and
we'll be at the bottom, boys.
and maybe St. Mary's. Yeah, we'll be scraping the bottom of the barrel there. But yeah,
Can we
man,
not play Gonzaga?
dude, did you see the score the other night against St. Mary's on the road?
Oh, I can't believe it. It's just,
Lost by 30, dude.
it's great.
The WCC conference slate for the men has been so funny, dude, because they'll either like win a close game against a pretty bad team, or they'll just get their doors blown. Like Pacific killed them
Pacific.
twice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Pacific,
not
dude.
good.
The school in Stockton killed them twice, and it's just like, what, huh? It's been a tough watch, and the only person who makes it better is Mike Parker. Listening to him during their Portland game on the road was just great because there was like 95 fouls in that game and he was just losing it. He's like, hopefully we'll be home tonight by like 2 a.m. after all these foul calls today. but but this isn't a basketball podcast. You can go listen to the Peyton years for that. The bowl games for the new pack probably not going to be very exciting, Josh. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd anticipate like the Arizona Bowl, which was the Snoop Dogg Bowl, which was cool. It was on the CW.
Ayo.
The New Mexico Bowl, Sun Bowl probably, maybe. I don't know. Hawaii Bowl probably for sure. And the Idaho Potato Bowl is definitely going to be on there, which I hope that they move that bowl game and call it something else because you can't have Boise State potentially playing a home game for a bowl game. That would be extremely lame. But I mean, most of these bowl games, not exactly destination spots for the new pack. And, it is what it is. Bowl games are dead.
They're pointless.
They're
Yeah.
dead, dude. They're so dead. Honestly, dude, I have a few ideas for bowl games if you don't mind me just rolling them off, dude. I think
They're
cash
great ideas
prizes
too. Yeah, they're great.
cash prizes for bowl games based off ticket sales and overall revenue. I think the winning team should win money. We got to make this like a game show. Like make it more fun for everybody involved. Like, dude, imagine the Pop Tart Bowl, the winner of that game. That game has great attendance. Imagine the winner of that game, all those players who played in the game, get some cash for it too. Cool.
And lifetime supply of Pop Tarts.
100%, that'd be a great addition as well. Have you ever tried butter on a Pop Tart? If you haven't, then I think you should. Make non shout out to Family Guy. Make non-playoff bowl games destination locations, man. I don't care if you double up on a venue, do it. Like Hawaii Bowl, we should have two of those. The Bahamas Bowl, two of those. Okay, they bring it back actually, and like Florida should be more of a destination bowl. Like I got ragged on by Washington State fans for calling the Potato Bowl a bad bowl game, and Utah State and Wazoo, two 6-6 squads going at it. I was like, this is a bad football game. No one wants to watch this. It was on like 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. Dude, like get rid of that. Like put that game somewhere more fun. I want destination bowl games. Put it in LA. Put it in, I don't know, man, anywhere but the middle of the country. Like those shouldn't have bowl games. Why would I want to go there? It's butt ass cold, and I don't want to watch it on a blue field. And we get doused in French fries. Cool. What an experience. No, destination bowl games. I need more of them. Way more of them. And you should
I'm here for it
also,
though, because it's like a 9 hour trip for me in a car to go to Idaho.
but
Let's
it's
go.
like, dude, the city of Boise has come out and be like, we don't really care about this bowl game. And obviously it shows because they aren't fighting for it to put it in a better
Yeah.
TV slot. So it's like,
Yeah.
they don't care. And I think you should have 7 wins, dude. You should have a winning record to get into a bowl game, okay? 7-5 should be the threshold. No more 6-6. We had way too many 5-7 teams sneaking in because teams were opting out. You got to be 7-5, maybe even make it 8-4 just to be more prestigious teams, I suppose. But yeah. Any more ideas from me? You can catch me on X at robd_94. I like to spit my mind every now and then, and some people get mad about it, and that's okay. They're just my thoughts, honestly. But I think the only semifinal in the national championship playoff game should be neutral site games. We got to replace the conference championship games with playing games. If a conference doesn't have a candidate for the CFP, then they can play one. National championship games got to be on New Year's Day, dude. We need a dead period so bad in this sport. It's needed for the portal and it's needed for coaches moving jobs. We need a dead period, 100%. And the portal should only be for players who have yet to transfer, their coach left or was fired, or they graduated. If you want to transfer and you don't fit that criteria, you have to sit out a year. I am
Massive. That's
tired.
huge.
I am
Yeah.
tired of this portal, dude. It is exhausting. It is ridiculous. It is full of drama, and I don't love it, man. Like, it's fun to see like where guys go for sure. I mean, that's just like free agency in any sport. But dude, every single year of this, dude, if Oregon State has a good squad in the next couple of years, these guys are gone, the coaches are gone. Oh, there they go. Bye. I do this all over again. Like, I hate this, man. Like, you can't even get excited about high school recruits anymore. It's just getting ridiculous. And like, I see all of our coaches right now on the trail, like, oh, I'm going to Southern California. I'm going to Oregon. I'm going to Washington. I'm going to California. Okay. How can I get excited about a high school freshman right now or a high school senior coming in to be a freshman next year? Like, is he going to stay?
Yeah.
Probably
I
not.
mean,
It's
you
like,
can't. You got coaches leaving during the CFP run, man. Like it's just the college football as a whole is just it. It's so gross. Like when you I wish we could go back and just change so much, right? And I think that last point that you bring up with that criteria, it's huge. It's massive. It eliminates a lot of the problem right now, and it takes a lot of the drama out. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but I we need it to go back to some standard of what it was many years ago before we had players leaving, players, coaches leaving. Like I miss it. I know there's a lot of people that miss it too, but like that was the standard of college football, man. This new era of college football, it sucks. It sucks for fans. I'm sure it sucks for coaches too. Lane Kiffin didn't care about Ole Miss whatsoever and left for LSU. Like it, like you never saw that. You know what I'm saying? But now it's just like you just said, like if Shep and that staff have a good next couple years, like we're gonna be sitting here wondering where he's gonna go because he's gonna get poached. It's just the harsh reality of it. Someone's gonna come throw a bag at him, and how do you say no to that? Especially
Yeah,
if he
dude. And,
can.
and that is going to be the entire new pack, honestly. And it sucks because it's going to be so hard to keep a lot of these coaches around in this conference, especially the young and up and coming guys. It's amazing that GJ Kenny is still at Texas State, man, because they had a tough year this year. And he's a young and upcoming coach. I don't know if Texas State has a good first year in the pack. Like, see you later. He's
Yeah,
going to wherever it is. He's going, and that's going to be the future of our conference. And it's such an unfortunate thing because it's like I said, man, it's so hard to get excited for these high school guys coming in. Like I understand, like when I was a kid, dude, it was so fun. Like, oh, there's Derek Anderson on the sideline. He's a true freshman. Like, he's going to play next year. You can get excited about that. Same thing with, oh, there's Ryan Katz, but behind him is Sean Mannion, dude. Get excited about him. There's none of that anymore. You
Quiz
don't,
Brothers, man. You knew that they weren't going anywhere.
yeah, dude, there's none of that anymore. And,
Yeah,
dude, if Jaquizion James were at Oregon State now, dude,
they'd be gone.
they'd be getting bags from schools
Yeah,
in Texas. They'd be going back home, dude. Like it'd be insane. And like plenty of coaches who have spoken about Quiz in the past, like they're like, yeah, dude, I completely missed on him. I would have loved to have him in my school. And that was like Mac Brown at Texas, dude. Like I missed on him. Oops. And like that's what sucks because it's hard to get it. It's 1 year. If you have a good player at a school like any of these new pack schools, man, you better come with some cash to keep that guy around because the other school is going to match it and probably make it better. So this NIL thing, the NIL thing really isn't the issue for me. It's the portal. If you can't just freely leave in the portal, like that's fine, dude. We'll find you the money. We can get you some very solid cash if you're a good player. And maybe at that point, if we do have this situation of the portal that I want, maybe we find some holdouts in college football. I don't know, man. But it needs to be more like the NFL. You don't have yearly free agency in the NFL. There's contracts, right? Then guys
yeah.
can be a free agent, right? That's when it needs to be. And this Mensa stuff from Duke, he's being sued because of the 2 year thing. And then we saw Damon Williams at Washington. They were going to go to court. He said, okay, well, I'll go back to Washington. These schools are stepping up and saying, like, nah, you signed a 2 year deal. Come on back. You can't do this. And as much as it sucks for the player, like, good. That's
Yeah.
how life is, bro. You sign a contract. You can't just leave. It's not just void. Okay, that's how you go to court. That's how you lose money, and then you're really screwed. So I don't know. I don't know what the true answer is right now because obviously they probably aren't going to go to this portal model that all of us really want. I'm okay with like what's going on at Oregon State with all these guys leaving because yeah, the coach got fired. Go ahead and leave. That's fine. But it's situations like I'm not even sure. Like at Oregon, they're bringing in a ton of guys and they're losing a ton of guys. It's like, well, you just made the playoff and you had guys actively leaving during your playoff run. Like that's not the point of this. Like stay on the team, bro. You had a chance to make a national championship run, and they'd rather hit the portal. So you're telling me that the portal is more important than winning?
It's that next check, man. It's just that it's a stupid mentality to
It's
have, but
crazy. It's beyond crazy, and I don't know. The NCAA has no more power. You've seen what's going on in basketball. These guys who have played in the G League, who have just they haven't signed like 2 way contracts yet, and they can go back to college and play. It's just like what are we doing, yo? This
yeah,
is
for
gonna
sure.
make the sport unwatchable.
It really, I mean, that's the reality of it. And when you look at it as like a football side of it, like having these recruiting pipelines, right? Like Oregon State and Texas and stuff like that for running backs. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
it doesn't matter anymore because you're recruiting a guy essentially for one season. and then you're going to pray that that guy doesn't leave again. So these pipelines don't essentially matter anymore when you're just flipping these guys and they're going to the next bigger and better place. And that just sucks. I mean, that's what college football was all about, was having those pipelines where you knew Oregon State was going to be in Texas to get running backs, right? Like that's just what it was. That's not it anymore. You're going to have to go find the next guy wherever they are, and that's what all the rest of the college football is doing. So it just freaking sucks.
And the West Coast is at a huge disadvantage right now with football programs dying left and right in California. Varsity programs getting smaller and smaller, man. It's definitely a concern. So you still have to go out to those places like Texas and Southern California to get good football players. And I don't know, man. I love the effort of these current coaches going out on the trail trying to find local kids. I love that effort from Coach Shepard, just trying to rebuild those relationships with these local high schools. It's great. You need the state of Oregon kids to stay in the state of Oregon and come to Oregon State because let's be real here. The average kid out of the state of Oregon isn't good enough to play for the Oregon Ducks. So where do they go? They go to Oregon State. They go to Portland State. You got to keep those kids in state, man. You got to build them up here, give them a good facility. Oregon State has fine facilities. They can build, they can develop here, man. It's a much better story when they stay home and it has some more pride to them. Like this Beaver logo to me and Josh means a lot, right? I don't get the sense for a lot of guys who come into Oregon State where it's the same thing. Like if you get more in-state kids, maybe it does. I know it meant a lot to Trent Walker because he was a walk-on. He worked his way up all the way, and mainly I was joking earlier. Okay, I do hope he has a good season with Houston, just not in the first game. Because again, I'm an Oregon State fan. Okay, that is who I am. I am not going to apologize for saying have a crappy game against us. Okay, I want us to win. I don't care what Trent Walker does against us. Okay, I hope he does poorly, right? But he built it up here. He worked hard. He made his way from a walk on to a scholarship to a solid possession receiver. Okay, cool, good for him. He had another chance to stay. He decided not to with a elite wide receiver coach as a head coach. That is certainly a decision from him. So we'll see how it works out. And a lot of these guys leaving as receivers, some of them, again, I'm okay. I'm okay with them leaving. Some of them haven't even gotten contacted, so that's hilarious in my eyes. But we do have baseball coming up, and they're as high as number 7 in the perfect game preseason ratings, which is awesome. They do come to Round Rock again, so if you're out here in the Texas area or you're making the trip out, come say hello. I will try to be at the Saturday and Sunday games for sure. Last year it was freezing cold. I hope it is not that again. They're also going to Frisco, Texas, which is a bit of a
Frisco.
drive for me, and I don't know if I'll make that one, but we'll see. That's still up in the air to be determined. But yeah, man, this football season is 9 months away. We have a long way to go. I'm excited to see how this thing rolls out. I'm so glad there's only one portal period, dude. It's just so much better this way. We don't have to worry about guys dipping in the spring now. Very happy about that. But Josh, any last words, any last thoughts about Coach Shep in this early period of Oregon State football?
I think it was a huge win for him, right? And that's what he needed coming out of the gate. You just needed to see something going in the right direction for once because it felt like everything for the last year has gone so far south, it's not even funny. So to even be pointed in the general direction of what we could call success, it's a huge win for him and this staff. I think rounding out the staff finally and figuring out getting the DC spot figured out is huge for him. Like having your guys now is like this is who you're rolling with. This is who you're going to go to war with every week, and it's good for the players and everybody to know that this is it. And I think as the next long 9 months happen, there's going to be a lot of build up to the season, and I think there should be, right? But also, like I said, you got to be grounded. We got to be. We Rob and I came in last year, and I'm pretty sure we picked that team to win 8, 9, maybe 10 games. So, we
Yikes.
just we just got to be ready for the lows. I don't think the lows are going to be as low as they have been. I think there's a lot of excitement around what can be, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what happens over the next few months, and I hope that in 9, 10, 11 months, Rob, we're sitting here having friendly conversations about Oregon State winning football games, and there's that energy back around this football team and in Corvallis because I miss that, man. I miss that peak Washington game a few years ago where Reeser was rocking, man. That's what I want. I want Shep to bring that back to Corvallis. That's what we need. This fan base desperately needs that energy to be back. And rolling with the punches and dealing with whatever you can is just what you're going to have to do. So I'm excited. I it's going to be a long few months, and I'm sure we'll throw in a pod here and there, and as time allows us,
Yeah.
because
We'll come
there's
back
a
in the
lot of
baseball season, I'm
people,
sure.
a lot of people that want to hear our voices and listen to us ramble
Yeah,
about
four of them.
nothing.
Yeah,
So
four people,
yeah,
dude.
five maybe if you six if
Count
you
my
include
mom.
us.
Seven. There you go.
Seven, okay, but
And
yeah,
her boyfriend, Gary. Eight. Let's go.
shout out to Gary, man. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody that listens to this. We have a Discord page now, so if you guys
Yeah.
want to join, shoot Rob and I a message, and we can get you guys in there. It's a small community right now, but we'd love to continue to build that up. It's fun just to be able to talk sports with people and allow
Yeah, dude.
people to
It's
voice
been
their
great. The
opinions.
Discord so far has been awesome. It's in our link tree. So every time we tweet out post out a podcast, that link is in there. It'll say join the Discord, and we'll let you in. We're talking. We have a ton of different channels, man. We have coaching news, we have recruiting news, football, basketball, baseball, men and women, for all sports, man. We talk it all, and it's a great group right now. We want it to grow. And you guys in that Discord will hear everything first from Chainsaw Crew, anything that we're talking about. If we have a new guest coming on, you will hear it first on Discord. So it's really just an opportunity in a space for our big fans and our loyal fans to just come and chat. And I'm excited during the football season to see how that thing is during games because I'm sure it is going to be popping off. So being there, man, it's a good time. Sometimes it can get a little chatty, but we keep it. We have rules. We have rules around here. This isn't Nom, and we keep it to Beaver Sports only. Okay,
We have a bot,
and we do have a
and
bot. Yeah, and
we have
sometimes
a
it
goat in
struggles.
there too. There's a goat.
Oh, sweet, dude. We have so many things that I have no idea what they are. So this is a good thing, you know.
It's a goat. His name's Ryan Harlan.
Let's go, dude. Well, hey, like you just said, man, my last words. Year one is gonna be up and down, man. There's gonna be some roller coaster here. It is more than likely gonna start tough for Coach Shepard. Those first two games are daunting. We don't even have a full schedule yet. We don't even have 12 games lined up as of right now. They did add New Mexico, or sorry, they added UTEP as an opponent this season. So they will go on the road to El Paso and play in the Sun Bowl. So there's 11 games guaranteed on the schedule right now. We'll see what the conference wants to do. I have a hunch that they'll add everybody plays somebody twice. I just have a weird feeling about that. But we'll see. That's just my that's just my prediction. I don't have any sources on that. Um, but I'm more than excited to see how this football program gets off the ground because it's a big job. It's a tough job. A lot of Alabama fans kind of clowning on Shep and some of the guys following him, saying like you'll never win there. That's an impossible job. And I just want Shep and this Oregon State football program to prove those guys wrong.
Yeah.
I want him to show that he made the right decision. And this is a great start in his head coaching career because at this point, man, we've been burned by who we thought were lifers. Okay. I don't expect Coach Shep to be a lifer. I just expect him to bring this discipline and bring this culture back up to what it needs to be and what it can be. And we've seen it at its best and we've seen it at its worst. So if we can find it somewhere more so middle towards the best, awesome. That'd be great, man. Just get us back to more competitive football, more consistent winning, and just more fun brand of football, man. That's what I miss the most, just from the Jonathan Smith era. But going to be a long first waiting of this first year. Going to be a couple of tough games in there. Probably going to be a handful of tough games in Coach Shep's first head coaching year. You gonna have to let him learn and grow as a head coach, and we're just gonna have to enjoy the ride as we go because it's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna take probably a couple of years to get this thing right. So be patient. But as always, man, go Beavs. Love this team with all my heart. And I'm so excited for baseball season, man. Dax, EK, Segura on the bumps. It doesn't matter, man.
Facts.
We're going to have a bunch of studs. We might play a little small ball this year. We might bunt some guys over again. Maybe the Pat Casey era of baseball comes back a little bit. But I'm excited, man. I cannot wait. Last thing, Travis Bazana is on the top 100 prospects list. He's looking like he's going to have a great MLB career. There's 3 Beavers in the top 100, which is awesome. So another thing to look forward to is baseball, baseball, baseball. Josh, last words.
Go Bees, baby.
Go Beavs. We'll see you guys soon. Not sure when, but soon. Go Beavs.